In this episode of Buenavidaroute, we invite you to come along with us as we journey through Calavera's Big Trees State Park. We have walked through this forest a few times, yet each and every time we discover new sights and wonders. If you're a fan of big trees and would rather have a quieter, not-so-touristy adventure, come here instead. Yes, Yosemite and Sequoia National Parks are amazing, but this smaller, lesser-known state park has a charm like no other, and you can explore at your own pace while learning so much more about these majestic trees. First protected in 1931, nowadays the park offers many recreational opportunities such as hiking, biking, fishing, camping, bird watching, and they even have a few cabins for rent, as well as it can be rented for special events like weddings and family reunions. Plus, they are very proud of their educational programs where you can volunteer or organize a group to get a tour from one of the rangers. The park encourages you to stay on one of the 7 trails or fire roads as you hike through. They have all levels of intensity and highlights such as giant sequoias, the Stanilos River, and even lava bluffs. We did a combination of trails through the North Grove, taking us through the giant sequoia grove discovered in 1852, where you will be able to see the big stump, mother and father of the forest, the fallen pioneer cabin tree, once a drive-through tree. We also did the 3 Senses Trail and the Grove Overlook Trail to be able to see more of a panoramic view of the forest, as well as use your other senses to experience the forest. The smells of the trees, the wetness of the ground, the sweetness of the wildflowers, as well as the sounds of the water running afar, the rustling of the leaves, the flapping of the wings of the birds, and even the buzzing of the insects. This is the magical experience you can have when you immerse yourself into the forest, especially if you stay and live the sunset and the change in temperature and activity of wildlife. So don't think that Andres and I are just laying here and sleeping in the middle of Calavera's Big Tree State Parks. This bench actually reclines so that you're able to see the very top of the mother and son, 2 trees that started growing together, but the mom is actually much wider and much bigger, while the son has lost some of its top due to wind and lightning. Let me show you. Let me give you a few fun facts about giant sequoias. Did you know that they can live up to 3,000 years? They occur naturally only in the groves of the western slope of the Sierra Nevada mountains. Their roots can grow to 100 feet in every direction, and a single cone can hold over 200 seeds. The discovery trunk was 1,244 years old when it was cut down in 1853. Discovery tree, the big stump. Let me tell you all a heartbreaking story that shows humans' ugly side. For sure, but hopefully teaches us all a lesson in conservation. In 1852, Augustus Dowd, while chasing a wounded grizzly bear, was stopped in his tracks by an unbelievable sight of the largest tree he had ever seen. Due to his colorful character, people didn't believe him when he got back into town and announced his sighting. It took a while for him to convince some men to do the 20-plus mile hike into the mountains to see the tree for themselves. Once conserved, it immediately became a tourist attraction and created fascination worldwide of these mammoth trees. Sadly, a year later, some men had the horrible idea to strip its bark in order to ship it for exhibitions. Since there weren't any big saws enough to cut it down, They used long-handled pump augers and wedges marks that still, to this day, you can see on the fallen tree. It took 5 men 22 days to drill all the holes, yet this beast of a tree still stood tall for several more days. The bark was reassembled for traveling exhibit, but was destroyed in the fire only a year later. To add insult to injury, the stump was planed smoothly to serve as a dance floor, and a 2-lane bowling alley and a bar were built on the fallen trunk. In fact, John Muir, one of the U.S.'s earliest preservationists, was so angered by this that he wrote, "The Vandals then danced upon the stump." The discovered tree was the largest tree in the North Grove, over 25 feet in diameter and 280 feet tall. When the rings were counted, it fell at 1,244 years old, and if kept alive, it would still be considered one of the largest living organisms on the planet. Currently, the largest living organisms ever exist on Earth, fossils records showing that the redwoods date back to 180 million years of age, the age of the dinosaurs. Yet unfortunately now they only grow in 75 groves across the western slopes of the Sierra Nevada. Tree number 4. During a September 9 in 1965, this tree fell due to heavy winds. It crashed down with such force that many thought it had been an earthquake. Winds, burns, fungus, and as the story before us, humans are the only things that can bring down one of these giants. A tree such as this one is estimated to weigh 2,600 tons, which is the weight of a small ocean freight container, or 18 blue whales. Tree number 6. Here you can spot the Fibonacci spiral. Yes, this tree spiral's growth has helped it develop a stronger trunk to withstand wind stress and snow loading. This natural spider pattern can be seen throughout nature, for instance in snail shells, sheep horns, and even entire galaxies. Keep your eyes open and let us know in the comments if you spotted any other throughout our journey through this forest. Number 13. The father of the forest fell long before the Euro-Americans discovered this grove. Comes to show how slow the process of decomposition is for a giant sequoia. This due to the tannins in their heartwood. It has served as a time-released vitamin capsule, slowly replenishing the soil. It has also been a favorite for photographers. In fact, in the visitor center, you can see a troop of cavalry posed on top of its trunk. Number 19. Want to know more about how difficult it is for a sequoia baby to be born? Let me tell you. Around this tree, you see both the male larger cones and the female more egg-shaped cones. The male cone, pollen, is blown around the grove and will need to come into contact with the female egg for a seed to develop. The seed resembles a small oatmeal flake with 6,000 of them weighing only 1 ounce. Then, up to 20 years can go by before it matures, and even then, it needs help from an outside agent such as fire, wind, snow, a squirrel, or an insect, for it to fall into the right place to start growing. One large tree can bear 40,000 cones, but only 1,500 open each year, with each cone containing 200 seeds, meaning there's potential for large numbers of seedlings, yet the circumstances all need to align.
Para que vean lo increíblemente grande que es este sequoia, vean en comparación a la cabeza de nosotros, que se va a estrellar.
We found a next one! We found a...
We hope you have enjoyed our walk through big trees and are inspired to come this way. Let us know in the comments what you think of this place and if you would like to come with us next time. Don't forget to subscribe, click like, and hit that notification bell for the next video in this series. Muchas gracias.